Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Super Prime UK with your Super Prime MJ Group valuers, myself, Rob Cohen.
Myself, James Wild.
Welcome everyone to this June election special. Today, James and myself will touch through on all of the hot topics and talking points around the general election that's coming up, how it's going to affect the economy and the property market. Welcome, James.
Thanks very much, Rob. So the election campaigning thoroughly underway. The existing MPs, the prospective candidates have all been out canvassing. We're yet to have the official manifestos released of all the political parties. So we're expecting that. I think a couple of the parties have announced theirs around the 12th and 13th of June. So a couple of weeks away. Obviously, a lot of topical issues are going to be within the manifestos. There's going to be a huge focus on NHS spending, healthcare provision, school taxations. We're going to be focusing today on the elements which affect real estate and property. First of all, Rob, let's discuss housing. It's been a big topic the last few years. The main thing, firstly, the housing delivery. I think the Conservatives initially set out their target 2019, 300,000 homes per year. We've never really got close to achieving that at all. And since then, Michael Gove, when he was the Levelling Up Secretary, has dampened down the target of 300,000 homes per year. However, on the flip side, Labour we're expecting that that will become a larger item in their manifesto.
Yeah, I'm very confident that irrespective of who is in power moving forward, that number is going to be a big number, and there will be a drive for increased housing, especially social housing.
Yeah, just in terms of that housing delivery, following on from the Labour conference earlier this year, they did have the slogan "Get Britain Building Again," which was included in their literature. So that maybe gives us a clue there what they're going to go in on. There's some concerns from other parties that where are the additional homes going to come from, where they're going to be built, and I think the current aim is that they're going to be on some grey belts, which has been cited by the party there. And for anyone that's not familiar with that term, it's a poor quality of green belt, as we're somewhat running out of the strategic land on where to put sort of large and new housing developments.
Yeah, thanks, James.
Also, furthermore, in 2023, the government did announce the leasehold reform measures as part of the King's Speech, which is going to address the leasehold system, which makes it easier for leaseholders to buy the freehold of their property or building, which is called the Enfranchisement Process. So some topic of debate there. That is moving through the House of Commons, House of Lords currently. So a little bit of wait and see in that respect. I don't think there's going to be too much political involvement, as that bill has already got the wheels in motion. However, the future of the Renters Reform Bill, Rob, which has a lot more focus on the residential property market here, it's going to affect the landlords and also the tenants, and how the assured short-hold tenancies are structured, particularly in relation to the Section 21 notices. And that is when a landlord, or a tenant for that matter, can serve a Section 21 notice, which surrenders the lease essentially. It gives notice that they'll be moving out, or notice from the landlord that the landlord requires occupation of the building. A big topic of debate here is that a lot of tenants are served the Section 21 notices, and there's a non-fault eviction. So in a relatively short time period, they're forced to find alternative accommodation, which in terms of government policy, it is not where they want to be. So we're expecting some changes there. The Conservatives, it's been mooted there's going to be a little bit more watered down approach to that bill. However, in terms of the Labour government's manifesto, we haven't got exact details, but in terms of the clues we've had so far, I think that there'd be a little bit of strengthening of that bill, with some possibly more slightly tenant-friendly policies, which will come out of that, in addition to the Section 21 notices, there'll be rights to have pets and not undertake alterations to the property. So the rental market in the last few years is really evolving. There's been a lot of private buy-to-let landlords exiting the market, selling up. Some of the tax changes we've seen there, the emergence of build-to-rent, Rob, in terms of the housing stock, that's going to take a few generations almost to come online and to build enough housing stock that's purely going to be used for rental purposes. So that really does need to be fast-tracked, especially from a planning perspective, to facilitate the building of some of those build-to-rent blocks, which are going to replace a lot of the private landlords which are exiting that sector.
Yeah, a big question, James, in the super prime world is the non-domiciled UK residents. All the meetings I've been going to with our private clients and wealth institutions is, are people coming? Are people leaving? Are people staying? What does the future hold in the space, which is so critical for super prime UK?
Yeah, no, thanks, Rob. In terms of the non-domiciled UK residents, what we know so far, as part of the March 2024 budget, Jeremy Hunt said that the non-domiciled tax regime, it is going to be phased out. So that really is sort of the bottom line as we find it currently. Obviously, depending on what happens with the election, we might have slightly different stances on how that will be taken forward. But in terms of what's in motion currently, from April 2025, people who move into the UK will not have to pay tax on the money they earn from overseas for the first 4 years. So a little bit of alleviation there for some of those individuals. After a period, if they continue to live in the UK, they will pay the same tax as everyone else, which will be a change on the current position as we find it. And those people who currently have non-dom status will be allowed a 2-year transition period, during which time they'll be encouraged somehow to bring the foreign wealth into the UK system. So those are the proposals currently. So whether those will be adapted or built upon, we'll have further details further online, possibly in the manifesto, but obviously when one of the political parties comes into power, this is going to be put into motion, and you know, we'll start to see the changes from next year. What we know so far, the Conservatives, they've set out their viewpoint in the March 2024 budget, and I think it's possible that Labour, you know, they could make some small tweaks to this, Rob, with any change probably more likely to strengthen the bill. Notwithstanding this, I think that any approaches to amend this bill is going to be done with extreme caution from either side, which obtain the overall majority and come into power. I think the economy remains slightly vulnerable, and any major departures would potentially affect the migration of some of the ultra high net worth families who reside sort of in the UK, which in turn we have ramifications and alterations in terms of the prime housing market and where strategically those ultra high net worth families will base themselves and where they want to live, and ultimately in terms of supply and demand, that will have an impact on the prime London market.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sensitivity around that is an interesting one. My feeling is, and I've been in a few meetings this week and we've been discussing this, I think the policy will be softened. I find it difficult to believe that the UK won't be an attractive place for foreign investment and non-doms. And so I understand the context of the policy around the election and the manifestos that we're going to see. From experience, just feel that over time, I do think it could tweak and soften.
Yeah, I mean, there's been mounting pressure for the government to address the non-domicile UK status. So I think the announcement which came in the 2024 March budget has been coming. I think we've seen the UK economy return to growth fairly recently, which is positive. However, in terms of as the economic risks recede, I think the political risks maybe mount with a general election in the coming months, particularly when focusing on the prime London residential market.
So moving on from that, once the election has come and gone and passed, we're very positively looking at an interest rate decrease. It is predicted to be on the cards. The expectation currently is possibly 2 to 3 reductions now this year. And the big question is, when will the first one happen, James?
Yeah, I think that the first one is going to be it's going to be the one that really kickstart things in the property market. And I'm not sure. I don't think this will happen certainly before the election. So it's likely then to happen just after the election. So whichever party gets in to power, gets the majority, forms a coalition government, whatever happens there, that party could get a welcome boost in their first quarter in power. And I think that'll definitely be a positive. It'll get things off to a good start, and maybe cause a little bit of a bounce in the economy, which is very much needed.
Yeah, I'm feeling that there's a reasonable chance it happens in August, and if it doesn't, it will definitely happen in September. And then the last quarter of this year will be a good quarter in the UK.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see what happens, particularly in the sort of the remainder of June, with July, August typically slightly quieter months in the UK property market. So the next 2 to 3 months could be a little bit quiet. We're not going to see maybe in traditionally quiet months, we could even see sort of slightly reduced activity for what we see usually. However, could unlock some pent-up demand come September, particularly if that coincides with an interest rate cut.
We've got an exciting few months ahead, James. I'm thinking it could be a really positive summer. So we've got the elections out the way. That would be positive. That uncertainty will be gone. We've got the Euros, and England are favourites, co-favourites for that, and it could be a great footballing summer. And interest rates are being reduced and coming back down. I think there's a reasonable chance that all three of those are positive positions.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an exciting summer. England's, we've had a strong couple of tournaments now, strung together back to back. It's going to be probably. We've got some emerging youth coming into the team, definitely. And, how many more tournaments is Harry Kane going to have? So we'll have to form a potentially, come the World Cup in a couple of years' time, possibly a new focal point. As he's led the line for the last, approaching 10 years out front. Who's your favoured 11, Rob? We've got strength and depth in some areas, but then real lacks of opportunity. I mean, particularly, I think left back is a problem position.
I think there's a given 5.
Yeah,
you've got Kane being the top goal scorer in Germany, and you've got Bellingham being the best player in Spain. You've got Foden being the best player in the UK, and then you can throw in Rice and Saka. Those 5 are a given, and then you're building around that probably with Walker, Stones, and Pickford. And then maybe there's 2 or 3 positions up for grabs.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a 4-3-3, isn't it? There's those sort of marginal players, and we've got some real goal scorers who are actually on the fringe of the team. We've got sort of Cole Palmer, Alexander Arnold, and you've got goals in those 2 players, and they're really not automatic starters. So I think that could lead to some flexibility in the systems, but I think you've got to have probably Kane will obviously lead the line. You'd probably have Saka and potentially Foden either side, and then probably Bellingham and Rice in the middle. And to try and bring some goals in the team, I'd probably play Cole Palmer in the hole there. I think Anthony Gordon could play a key role off the bench. He's one of the few players got on the wing that's going to run in behind. So I'd see him coming off the bench half an hour to go.
I think this is the coming of age. Even if it is a youthful team, it's the coming of age. I think this team goes all the way and wins, James.
Fingers crossed. If we can keep it tight at the back, I think that's the key. It's got goals on the team. If we can keep it tight, not concede, very good chance.
Brilliant. Let's see how it all goes. We've got an exciting summer ahead. Great to have you all back, and we will keep you updated with everything in Super Prime UK.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks very much, everyone.